I've always heard it's the little things in life that make you happy. It's those little subtleties in life that you notice, those little things. And, you know, sometimes it's just knowing that somebody else cares about you, that other people actually love you for you, the real you, not the you that people want you to be, not the you that you want you to be, but just love you for the you that's here right now. It's the subtle little things in life that you find that bring you a little ray of sunshine and sometimes a bleak existence. And some days, I don't care how hard you try, some days are just, well, bleak. Some days it's hard to find that ray of sunshine because some days it just seems like the sun's never going to shine again. But some days it's easier to find. But then, it always seems like some days you'll be sitting there looking and all of a sudden a subtle little thing finds you and you're just like, that God sent your way that to help you feel better about yourself that day, to make you think it's going to be okay. It's the subtle little things in life that just kind of make the difference, that really actually make the difference. It's not the big things that you think, you know, that actually matter. It's that subtle little thing of saying, hey, God loves me and I love God. And God's got people out here that love me too, trying to help me. Even though you may not see them right in your immediate purview sometimes, but they're there. And it's just hard to understand some days that, it's the little things though that keep you going. You know, just keeping the faith is hard some days. And keeping that faith within and knowing that God's got you. Some days you're walking through a fire and it just seems like the fire's never going to end. Some days it seems like you're walking through a dark tunnel. Sometimes it seems like it's been decades you've been walking through this dark tunnel, but it seems like the light's finally right there and you're not sure if you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel or if it's just you wishing there was one there. But you gotta say, hey, it's really there. And then, like God's finally just told me, it's like, it's really there. So you gotta understand that some days you gotta look for the positives. You gotta look for the love. And you've got to love yourself first and foremost. Sometimes it's hard to find anybody else to love you, so you got to love yourself. That may sound bad to some people, but it's the truth. You've got to learn to feed off the power of God and feed off the love of yourself. And that'll get you through. It may not seem like it, and it may seem like a bleak existence, but, don't sell yourself short to impress others. Don't sell yourself short just to have human interaction. You know, Maintain your integrity and love yourself. And, because I'm telling you, if you sell yourself short, you'll end up being disappointed by others and then disappointed in yourself later that you didn't hold up to loving yourself the way that you should have. So, just understand that each day that you got to look for the little things in life and find those little things and understand that God will send them to you. And sometimes you got to look for those little subtleties that He sends you. It's those little things that, kind of says, I love you. It's those little things like that that make you go through the day, that keep you going through the day. Each day we have to look to go through it because you don't know what everybody's personal battles are. You don't know what anybody else is going through. And the ones that you think have it made, quote unquote, might be fighting battles that you have no idea they're fighting. Battles that unless you are in their body, you wouldn't know they're fighting. Because I've noticed the ones who fight the biggest battles don't talk about the battles. Then there's the ones who just want attention, who honestly don't really have that big of problems, but they turn those problems into huge problems. I've noticed a lot of times the ones who actually have the big problems, they just don't talk about them. And, you know, not talking about your problems does not make them any easier. No. And I'm telling you, that's why express what you feel freely. And if people don't like how you feel, guess what? You just sorted out who's actually on your side. You know, part of helping people is helping you see the truth. And part of seeing the truth is seeing the hard facts that you really don't want to see sometimes. Seeing the fact that, you know, in the end, really there's only you and God here. And learning to love yourself all the way. Even on those days where you don't feel like it. Even those days where you don't feel worthy, knowing that you are worthy because God says you are. You know, each day you've got to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and saying, hey, it's going to be okay. It'll be fine. You know, and knowing that it's going to be fine. That's the key. You know, it's just knowing that everything's going to be okay, whether you think it is or not. Because some days, it doesn't seem like it's going to be okay. I know some days I look around and it just feels like the walls are closing in. And that's just anxiety and the darkness. And the darkness loves to make you think that, that's how they crush you. That's how they crush your spirit. You know, it's not about physically crushing you, it's about crushing your spirit. You know, because crushing your spirit's not illegal. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, just making people, you know, and that's something that people don't understand. That, and there are people who coordinated do this to people and like crush people's spirit because, well, they had theirs crushed a long time ago and, well, they now have to feed their demon. You know, and don't be one of those who crushes other people's spirit. Be one of those who helps build other people's spirit. That way, you feed off of being able to help people. And honestly, there's only one person you really want to be able to feed off of, you and God. And see, God will show you the way. God will show you a different way. God will show you a better way. But you know, you've got to look for those little subtle things in life to make you happy in the interim. You know, and realize that, hey, I am enough because God says I'm enough. I love me. God loves me. You know, that's enough. And then realize that if God sends you somebody else out there to help love you too, that's just a bonus. And realize that no matter what happens, you still have you. And also realizing that if you sell yourself out, you still have to deal with you. So realize you better treat yourself with some respect because if you sell yourself short, you'll always have to remember you sold yourself short. You know, and getting past that's one of the hardest. Getting past self betrayals is a lot harder than other people betraying you. I just expect others to betray me. I mean, I've just learned that that's kind of how it is. And I don't expect them to, but I just assume they do. And it's like us, I've learned, though, that there's a few out there that I trust that I've never met. And that's kind of funny that that's the way it works. And then there's some I've known my whole life that I don't trust at all. So, see, you've got to learn to depend on you. And that's what this is all about. It's not about this place like wrecking you, it's about you learning to love yourself. And that's how you like fold out of this matrix. That's how you fold into being the best that you can be. That's how you change into that giant phoenix. Now, that's how you transform. You know, and finding those little things that like give you hope. It might be in a book that people find silly. It might be seeing somebody online that, you know, has figured out a way to like deal with things and help others. You know, and finding people that, you know, care about you, that truly care about you, not just say they do, not just because they want something of yours, but truly caring about yourself, caring about others, and learn to love yourself for who you are right now. That's what it's all about. And if you find some people that truly love you for who you are, that's great. But in the meantime, love you for who you are right now. Whether anybody else likes you or not, that's not your problem. What other people think of you is none of your business. And really, it's not. That's their opinion. And they have an opinion based on basically no facts at all. So understand that each day, give yourself the benefit of a doubt. Love yourself each day. Help yourself each day. Help someone else each day. And that'll ultimately help yourself. And look for those subtle little things in life. Just look for a little note from God, from someone else that you find, and just gives you a little bit of hope on a day whenever it was looking pretty bleak. And maybe that'll give you enough hope for another day. And I understand that even whenever it looks bleak, it's not that bad. You'll be okay. You will make it through it. You always have, you always will. And turn to God and turn to you. And once you start turning to you and turning to God, you will believe in you. God already believes in you, and that's enough. That's all that matters. And once you believe in you and once you believe in God and get everything sorted out, God will start bringing in others that'll believe in you. I know He will. Anyway, I'm Josh. I love you. God loves you. Peace.